species.
Are we being pushed towards like higher consciousness? Like, is that the era that we're in?
Hell
Check
no.
this out.
No, hip hop isn't created under artificial intelligence. It's an actual lived human experience.
Just like, well, music is a sample-based industry and stuff like
They're the ones that depend on samples.
It's not a sample-based industry. It has sample-based technology if you choose to use it.
I said it's nothing to me, ain't new to the ring. I son anybody who wanted with me. The stupidity, if it's I and it's you, well then one of these things is losing to me. Who could it be? Will it be you? Indubitably.
Host Vader, the undisputed podcast for the independent music industry, with your hosts Clef Wonder, Jordan, and Calvin II.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up?
You.
What it do?
We
What
back.
What up, though?
We back. We talking about stuff. Doing
How art
things,
thou?
doing things.
How to do?
So we gonna jump right into it. AI.
Hey.
AI.
Allen Iverson in the house.
Yes, Allen Iverson is all in the news today.
Yeah.
We need to talk about him.
I thought you was gonna say Andre Iguodala.
Oh, no.
Nah. No shade. Anyway. But you know, artificial intelligence. You know, augmented reality, AR, VR, everything that's happened. And the reason why we're going to talk about this because there are people that are rationally afraid. There are people who are irrationally afraid.
Yeah.
And there are people who are irrationally unafraid of the future of AI
Yeah.
and music. So, and the thing is, and I think that third one is, I think what triggers me the most when I have conversations with people because I'm just like, oh, it's not nothing.
Yeah.
So don't get it twisted. Like,
Don't
I mean,
get it
like, I'm
twisted.
like, don't overreact to something that's not fully here, but you better be aware
Yeah.
that
It's
this
going
shit's
to
it's
affect
coming.
you.
It's here.
It's a
coming,
whole
right?
new
It's
world.
coming for you.
Now, I mean, okay, I'll say what I know about it because I don't know the full scope of it. I think in the last few weeks, depending on when we release this, there's been a lot of things coming up like, here's they like generated the voice of Kanye singing other songs and a lot of artists doing this and whatnot. So now, and then I think, was it RZA or somebody was like, yo, you're using somebody's intellectual property or their personhood and doing this and whatnot. And there needs to be faster protections that come up for artists because you're actually using the thing that they've actually, made income off of and stuff. And eventually people are going to be doing this. If they're doing this now jokingly and it's kind of good, and that means they're going to have the ability to do that. So now like your voice itself and your cadence and all that maybe can be commodities.
My thing is, man, if you haven't signed anything that has to do with name and likeness, you haven't tied your soul to something like a Disney, Apple, or certain corporation, something like that. If you still have that freedom and you're on the level, or you're trying to reach a certain level of certain heightened, musical success, you should make sure that your vocal tone, inflections, delivery, all of that stuff that copyrighted as you is yours.
Yeah.
So I think that's the next copyright coming.
That's an interesting thing.
Is literally the voice and delivery of you. Because right now, that's what they're taking from you. The reason why we think those songs sound like Kanye West is not just because of his tone of voice, it's because the delivery of the words.
His cadence, his
Now,
flow.
it's
like whoa.
all that stuff and tone. And like that's what you need to start copywriting, because the thing is, that's the next property that's gone.
Yeah.
The essence of you. They got things now. People can now, if you answer the phone and you say hello, and then they just start talking to you, asking you questions and you're like, is this telemarketer? Who's this? Blah, 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 this, that. This small 30-second conversation that happens before you hang up, they were recording.
Because scammers are using it to fake your identity.
And they are able to recreate your voice with this sound. And you know who they call next? Your mama.
Your grandparents.
Yeah. I need $1 million.
No, let me tell you, I'm not even true story. Like even before this AI stuff, like maybe 10 plus years ago, somebody literally called my grandmother and it was like on a bad connection and they were acting like it was me and I was in Spain and whatnot. Now, luckily, you got to know my grandmama ain't play that. She not like she was cheap, but she wasn't giving out money without asking questions And she was like, oh, where you at? How you get there? How long you been there? And so they ain't last with her. But imagine now if your baby, your grandson, your granddaughter now is actually their voice and they're in distress. And like, grandmama, I need help. Blah, blah. Somebody could easily get $200 off of unsuspecting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Easily. So it's like a whole, that's why, I mean, this is another topic, but like, I think that people that do like internet crimes or like crimes like that, man, they need to really up the charge because it's like, it's going to really have so many people that there can actually steal from and everything. It's just like, they need to really discourage it.
Yeah.
They need to be like, oh, I'm risking my life for this. Like, I don't want to be in jail for the next 15. And it needs to be a lot of people.
They need to up the consequences.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Digital crime is like, that's more common. People, I ain't walking around with dollar bills in my pocket.
Nah.
Yeah.
I got it in an account. So if you scamming me, you scamming like for real.
Yeah.
I mean, they're taking away your futures, man.
Yeah.
They're taking away the opportunities that you could have because name and likeness and owning it is like, that's one thing that we had to deal with the last 20, 30, 40 years.
Oh
and it's just like,
and we're still not even fair on that.
we're not fair on that.
We're not even fair on that.
And, but it's another thing to be like, to be a person, emulate them in every form factor possible and basically control their life. Yeah. And I think the fears that's coming in music, like, so let's talk about some stuff that's already happened. So when it comes to AI, in case some people don't know, I mean, most of y'all should know already. So AI can auto-generate music based on the descriptions that you give it. So however you describe the music, or you want a song that's in a minor key, that's upbeat, that sounds like T-Pain or something. They can make something sound like that because those are very strong descriptors. So it might not be good. In fact, it won't. It's never good, right? Have y'all heard?
Yeah, but you can it gives you like maybe as a creator something like a framework.
It can give you a framework. It can give you an idea. It can give you a vision. And the thing is, and that's where I'm still unopposed. I'm not going to live in a place where you can't be inspired. I'll let you have that. Well, I shouldn't say let you, but I'll work with anyone that's using it as inspiration. But what I won't do is let it control composition moving forward. So, and I think a lot of people are using it to control composition. It's like you got things out there that are spliced already. There are whole songs on Splice.
I was going to say Splice is kind of the OG AI of production.
Like, they're the Napster of this shit. Let's keep it real.
Yeah.
But because people's like, well, these are people delivering sound packs. I was like, now. But you don't think the people who manage Splice can be like, well, I'm going to use AI to make samples, and I'm not going to pay Kara. I'm not going to pay Cashmere. I'm not going to pay these people for their packs because I can just say, listen to all these packs, AI.
And make a sound wave.
Something that sounds
make a sound wave that sounds like this, but it's different.
Exactly.
You know what zeros and ones are because you are zeros and ones.
Basically.
Make a poppy.
Exactly. So at that point, they may not use you. Now that's a rational fear. A rational fear for someone who depends on.
You said a rational fear or irrational?
Irrational.
No, a rational fear.
It's a rational fear that they can create your compositions. And,
well, that's what I'm saying.
They can emulate your compositions.
That can emulate your compositions because the thing is, the rational fear that I'm bringing up is that was a job replacement. The original thing I said, where it's like you're using it as inspiration. We've always had inspiration that came from places where we stole shit. But the rational fear is that person who does make a living making authentic samples for the packs like that, and now we don't need you anymore.
I think
so
that
once it takes away an actual job, and not that you can't do something different, not that you're not fluent in anything else musically. I'm just saying, if you created a source of income, if you a person that lives off 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 streams of income, and I would say that was number 4, you just lost number 4.
Yeah.
So far, I have not. So from a songwriter standpoint, I have not yet seen AI write a song that I felt threatened by. I'm not saying it's not on the way, but there's just too much nuance. I think that's really what it comes down to is like what still is not there is like perspective that's shaped by or informed by your life experience. Right. And like the nuances, like the technique, like they can literally give you words and they can like structure it like they know A, B. You know what I'm saying? Like they can give you something, but it's like it's still not gonna compete yet.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, like imagine how phones were when they first come out and where they at now. Yeah. So with that same level of growth in any industry and whatnot, like, you know, it's going to be this exponential growth. If it's already here now and it's able to do this, you can't just sit back and be like, oh, well, that's how it is now. Like, no, if it's here now and it's like this now, it's going to be at a different level. So I think a lot of musicians, we have to really, like you said, name and likeness. You almost have to add a clause. And you need to be talking to your attorneys. Like, no, my name and clause outside of any, like, you can't just be giving that away, because then technically and legally, what is your name and likeness without your name and likeness? That's it. So that, and also just making sure that we're maybe a little bit forward thinking about legislation to actually protect people now, as opposed to playing catch up. And it should be a thing too, where like artists, where we're like really like any company that tries to do it first, make an example of, they got to get canceled. I wish any company, you have to respond to really this stuff. Like, no, we are not doing that. You're not doing it. We can't. They have to literally be.
There should be limits
for real. It has to be a thing. Everybody got to stand up against it, because that will.
I just had a woo-woo thought around this, y'all. And so my question is, I don't know if y'all gonna be with me on this, but let me know.
We might not be. We might not be.
Are we as a, you know, I don't want to say society, I want to just say like as a human species.
Okay, as a species.
Are we being pushed towards like higher consciousness? Like, is that the era that we're in?
Hell
Check
no.
this out. No. Check this out.
I'm in here for this.
Yeah, but no. But let me get the full question.
Everything right now is about identity, right? I'm even thinking about like the idea of like the non-binary and stuff, and all these things that we use to like identify ourselves, i.e., this is my trade, this is my skill. This is what, you know what I'm saying? Like even something down to like your tone of voice, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
All of this, we're now seeing that robots can do the same shit, right? So at the end of the day, I think what we're ultimately going to be left with, which is I think where we're headed as a society with, like I said, people identifying as like non-binary, or I don't want to be identified by my age or whatever it is like, I am just a human spirit that's existing. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing else that adds to my identity or my value. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like maybe that's where things are headed. I don't know if that's landing or if I need to say that better.
No, I think it is lame, and I think you do need to say it better. I think that so
because I feel like I just feel
Here's the thing. I was there, and I was just like, I'm not gonna speak first.
It's a war.
It's like, I'm gonna let Calvin die first.
Because I'm working it out too in real time. Because like I thought of it while y'all were talking, I was like, oh shit. But it's all a war on identity, bro. It's
oh my god. I think war on, wait. What? Well, the war on identity.
It's a war on identity. Yeah. That's what
do you mean by that? Like,
but that's what I'm saying.
Because I feel like we're like opening up this conversation a little. I want to make sure we're defining what we're talking about.
What here's the thing. Like,
confused.
Further define that. Like, the war on identity, or is it the war with identity, or is it the defense of identity? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean when you say that?
Because the war on identity that's what's happening, but let people know what the war is.
Yeah.
Tell them that really actually just confused me even more. I'm not even gonna lie. Wait, what I'm saying? You list different variations.
All right, but all right, I will give you. Okay. I will give you some stuff what I'm thinking, and let me know if you're closer to this.
Okay.
But I'm saying with the war with on identity, meaning that is it tech and the need for further investment in intelligence stripping us of identity?
It's stripping us of identity. That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's what you're saying?
It's like all of the things so literally all the things that we identify as what makes me, what makes me an individual, what makes me special, is now sort of being substituted by technology to where we're having to now question, like, what the fuck does make me special? And I think it's ultimately going to come down to, in a spiritual context, like, you are on this earth existing and that's enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, like there's no longer going to be these things that we can latch on to, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like I'm going somewhere and I lost it. You know what I mean?
No, it's okay. It's okay. Sometimes,
but you're saying, did that clarify anything at all? Or
no, but
I'm in the stream of consciousness. I'm flowing.
No, I appreciate the conversation.
Let me connect those dots.
Let me see what
connect the dots.
I'm gonna connect the dots.
Yeah.
Basically, Jordan is basically getting at the fact that as technology improves, it's basically going to strip us of the individualism that is humanity itself. So basically, we're all going to be just a form of just beings around that are basically all doing a variation of the same thing.
Yes.
And there's no actual individualism as it is. And that's
which then poses the question: was there ever truly individualism?
And that's why we need Neil deGrasse Tyson to show up. Yeah, to tell us, because he'll tell us right out, you were never a thing.
Yeah,
you were never anything.
Well, I guess
you're still
to
nothing.
An extent, I believe. And granted, this is very woo-woo, and I think at the end of the day, it's like with these principles and these concepts, like you can never land on anything tangible. It's like the opposite.
Yeah. Well, and that's okay. So with these conversations, without getting too deep, because this would go an hour, and I'm not doing that. I'm not, y'all. I feel like I'm trying to goat me.
To share it, you know what I'm
saying? No, I appreciate the thought personally and everything. Like, yes. There are new challenges that are brought up by how the way that we interact with technology. Yes, but and could that actually strip down on what somebody's individuality is and what it means to be human is? It can, but I think that's why it's more important, and that's why it's going to be important and everything for artists and humans just in general to stand up and be like, no, a computer ultimately can only imitate. It can't. A computer can never actually be a human. It's a very unique experience. A human soul is a very specific thing. And so I think that maybe not in a negative sense, I feel like as these more imitations arise, like you said before in a previous episode, the real thing is always going to have counterfeits and stuff. And sometimes it could be a good counterfeit. Now, with this new technology, I think we just have to be very careful of not accepting, wow, this $20 bill really looks like a $20 bill. I'll take it as legal tender and whatnot. And we have to also make sure that people's hands don't grab for the fake 20 because it negatively affects a lot of people. And honestly, I don't want to go down every hole of how bad this gets. I think that like sometimes you don't have to do that and just wait for the world to burn. Like I guess people are trying to really get this whole apocalypse thing popping off. But man, come on, I got dreams I still need to get done. I got some kids. Like calm down. Calm down, y'all.
I think they're sensationalists and they're also catastrophists, if that's a word or whatever.
I think the thing I love that you said the most was that there are people that are irrationally unafraid of it. That also irks me.
Yeah.
If you think that it's just like not anything to be concerned with, like no, you better wake up.
I think it's fair to say I don't know that it's positive to be afraid. I think to be
just
aware.
Concerned. Just concerned.
Concerned even. Is concerned a positive?
Yes. No, it doesn't. No, concern is like, that's awareness. It's like, I am concerned about this. You can be positive.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. You're right.
Like,
concerned
is
a better
word. If you're not concerned and you're just thinking that it's like, it doesn't make a difference. It's like, no, it does. And it can, if it takes away one job from an artist who, otherwise could have fed their children with that money, then that's a concern. Yeah. It's like, is this where we have to really be concerned with where can this go and where we want to go? Because we collectively do have influence over how this thing goes. And, music is one of the industries where we're the least organized, so that sucks.
But you know what? And because you said that, I mean, we can actually segue. And before we get to irrational unafraidness of this technology that we are here with that's coming, but it's already really here. Mm-hmm. We should mention some of the good or mention some of the things that actually does help within the music industry. So it's not all bad. So y'all don't think this is a, run for the hills episode. But and this is from AI. I actually asked AI, what aspects of the music industry will be disrupted by AI? I'm not gonna give you every answer.
AI gonna tell on itself?
Mm-hmm. The funny thing is,
Skynet ain't going.
The funny thing is, it did. I'm gonna sum it up real quickly. She said first. I said she noticed how I associate AI with Siri or Alexa or something like that, which is scary. Be nice to them.
Mother AI.
Be nice.
Well, hold up.
Be nice to Siri.
Is that what it says in the thing? Be nice to us?
No.
Oh, I thought you were saying it was to the ChatGPT was like, hey,
no,
be nice to
I'm
us.
telling people be nice because, like I said, they will never be human, but they're going to get damn close. Mm-hmm. So anyway. Composition and production. AI can generate music, analyze and combine different genres and styles, providing new creative opportunities for songwriting and music production. So, like I said before, that's a double-edged sword. There's people getting whole ass songs. There's people that's getting inspirations. You know which side I fall on. So
he wants the whole song. He ain't trying to work.
Next thing is audio mastering. AI-based mastering software can improve the quality of audio recordings and make them sound more polished. Here's the thing. We've been doing this for about 6, 7, 8 years already. So this is not something we can complain about because I don't work with a single person. Because if you use isotope, if you use isotope of any kind, you use AI.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Got the mastering software?
Yeah. Well, they do a lot of things.
They do a lot of things, but in real life, all their stuff is artificial intelligence. And the thing is, they're very good at it. The reason why we don't mind it is because it's good and it's not necessarily doing something. It's not taking anything away from us.
Right.
Yeah.
So like it can skip some processes, but it's not, you can master your own stuff.
We're still able to gauge it and judge it.
Some people don't arguably taking the job of mastering engineers.
If you choose to master your own music. But the thing is, on the highest of scales, at least for what we work with, they still going to give that to mastering.
True.
On the lowest of scales or demos, when we do that, we're not doing that. But we go slap some isotope on it.
Yeah.
But that's a money-making venture to lead to something else. That is not the money itself.
Yeah.
That's not the master. So that's what I'm saying. So we already use that. That's a sort of a good thing. It could be bad, but for mastering engineers, but I would like to hear, in the comments, mastering engineers, how y'all actually feel about that. Because I've talked about this with Kofi and he seems to have no qualms with this stuff. It's like, so I think it's because they use it, and they use it as a tool more so than just like a quick source of fixing anything.
Yeah.
So, and then, but here's where they start winning. Music distribution. AI-powered platforms like Spotify and Pandora use algorithms to recommend music to listeners based on their preferences, play history, and other data. Now, we may not care so much about this because we make the music and we want everybody who has ears to hear it. But people who do not work in the music industry want to hear a lot of the same shit. So the reason why Pandora is as big as it is because the reason why you can click on Pandora right now and say, I want to listen to RuPaul, and realize like, well, RuPaul ain't got that many songs. So what's that going to be? That's why 75% of RuPaul's playlist is Todrick Hall. So, and he's living off that. Not living off of that real. We're not saying living, but let's
pay some bills. It's okay.
They pay some bills because if you want to listen to RuPaul, you got to, every 2 songs is probably going to be Todrick. So that.
So y'all, you living off that too then.
So it works. It works.
This microphone was brought to you by
nails, hair, hips.
Hey.
So that's that type of stuff can be good and bad, but at the same time, so they're not going to get a lot of new music. But if you make hot music in that vein of something that they do like, it's going to show up there, and that does help. Double-edged sword, blah 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 blah. Music analysis. That's another thing. AI can analyze music to understand its structure, chords, and lyrics, providing valuable insights for musicians, marketers, and advertisers. I like this until they said valuable insights for marketers and advertisers. I like the insights for the music industry and people learning and people also knowing what works versus like, I don't like when marketers and advertisers try to dictate certain things in briefs. Like, let us know what you're going for. But don't send me back notes about what about we maybe just, brighten up this section here with some, I don't know, like what you got, you guys EQ here and all this stuff. I don't like, let's try a different chord. I was like, do you know what you're talking about?
Yeah.
No, they just got a lot of times they just have to put their little stamp on it to let people know that like, hey, I've thought about this and my thoughts.
Yeah, I'm like,
I know 3 music terms, and therefore I know exactly what it is that you do and how to do it.
Have you tried turning up the auto-tune?
Maybe reverb.
Exactly. Yeah. It's comments like that. I was just like, so what about?
I'm thinking reverb here and a really big like boom on the one.
I'm like,
Jesus.
I want you to sit down.
So okay,
tell me yes or no. But so I like that, with the exception of the fact that I don't need advertisers having musical analysis. It's just gonna make everything worse for briefs. And fifth, and I think is the absolute gold mine for us. And what I mean by us, people who work in the music industry on any level, if you make $5 a month or $5 a second or $5 million, AI is going to change the game, or it has already changed the game when it comes to copyright and licensing.
How so?
Because AI can help identify and track copyright infringement as well as manage music licensing and royalty payouts.
That's good.
Wow, that's going to be great, actually.
Because I'm not going to lie,
$5 going to turn to $6.
As look, I'm gonna say this right now. As I've added more, let's just say aggregators or people who collect money for certain types of digital licensing or digital royalties across all the territories in the world, I noticed that I'm not just making additional income because of it's doing better. I'm collecting income that was not actually being able to be caught before, because the technology didn't exist to realize that your music's being used here, or your bass line is actually being used here.
That's good.
And it's not. So that's the thing. And I know there's going to be some people in the comments. You can get in comments at me all you want. That's just like, well, music is a sample-based industry and stuff like
they're the ones that depend on samples.
It's not a sample-based industry. It has sample-based technology if you choose to use it. If you choose to use it. Every day with that. So no, I can say right now, if you use samples, you are agreeing to use material someone else will use. Live with that. The reason why YouTube content ID is just like, oh, this showed up as somebody else's song, but this is a brand new beat. I was like, sure it is. It's a brand new beat that came from a chord change from Splice. Somebody else like that. I think 300 people like that. Yours just happened to take off. And then also that dude didn't take off. And now there's like, well, it's the same song. You just want to have to live with that. That don't mean the song
or just
not
like replay it slightly or do something.
It doesn't mean the song not hot, because you could have just made a better version. All it means is that you can't collect that YouTube content money because you were not original with it.
Yeah.
So you can't get that money. But that don't mean the song not hot, because the thing is, if the song is that hot, just like Jay-Z said with A Hard Knock Life, he was like, if the song's that hot and they're not going to let you have the copyright to use that sample from Annie. Or they wanted X amount of dollars to use it, which he was just like, hell no. Nah. But then put it out. It's like, it didn't matter. He's like,
it promoted you.
It promoted you. He made it not a dime for it, but it changed the entire trajectory of his entire career.
Hold up, he did get. He had an agreement for Hard Knock Life.
We gonna put the truth down there because I don't really know, but from what I've read from Jay-Z's
but there
mouth,
are other songs.
What I read from him, he said he didn't get nothing from that.
I don't know if he got money from it, but they did have an actual agreement. It's not one of those things where they just put it out and we're like.
What I heard was what he said in like an audio thing. It was just what he said, like, we just put it out anyway. So that's what I heard. But I don't know if it's a situation where they said no, or it's a situation where they said X amount and he was like, nah.
Well, I only say that because I know he said that he actually had an agreement that, like, if anybody samples it in the future and whatnot for hip hop, like, he gets to be the one that like chooses who can actually use it.
But was that post record being released?
Well, if the thing is, if it was released like in a way that wasn't helpful, usually you're not going to be on good negotiating terms to get a very good negotiator. That's a great negotiating.
But the thing is,
it's possible.
It's possible because the thing is,
it wasn't like he was a small dog at the time.
If he didn't keep any master,
the industry and machine behind him.
And if he didn't have any mastering money behind it, he could have settled with that. It was like, oh well, we made a crap ton. So
yeah, so it depends. I just still want to look that up, but
we'll look that up because we don't know what we're talking about on that. So don't quote us. But
quote us.
But because of that, and so I know other people who live in that sample-based industry. That's fine. I like it. I like sample-based. I like some of the hottest beats come out of samples. Just like some of my favorite producers ever all time is like Just Blaze and stuff like that. So like I like samples. I'm never hating on it, but I just say that's that world. So you're just going to have to live with that. But obviously, if you're creating something absolutely original from whatever you consider scratch.
Well, here's a thought here. Like, what are some let's do maybe one each. What's a best case scenario for AI and a worst case from like each person? And we maybe think of that like, oh, okay, this is a way it could really work for good and a way it could really be bad and whatnot. Like, what are y'all thoughts on that? Can y'all give me a best case, worst case?
Best case, worst case scenario for AI. Okay. I think the worst case for AI is more so what's not here, what the future is. If the future comes as slated as like at the speeds we're going now, sadly, there's a lot of template writing in major motion pictures. If you watch certain movies, you watch a lot of Marvel. Sorry, Marvel, but you do it a lot. We can kind of feel what's about to happen with the music in your movies now, and that's not bad. That's branding. We understand what we're supposed to feel like in these movies, but that's not something AI can't learn. Mm-hmm. And then when it may come to a point where we're not going to need all the Hans or the Williamses or the Michael Giacchinos in that space for everything.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you're Steven Spielberg and your Lucasfilms, and you have this pedigree of putting out top analog feel of movies, and James Cameron, he's like, well, no, I'm always going to get a film score.
Yeah. Now, what do you think is maybe a best case scenario?
The best case for I hate to be this not woo, but I hate to be a little preachy. Mm-hmm. I always go this route. I always go this route. But
it's with the gospel. Who got the organ? You got to insert the organ on this.
The greatest thing that's going to happen with AI is that it's going to repurpose and reinstitute the importance of music in public schools. People don't see that coming. People haven't even thought about that.
That's interesting.
But you have to understand how much the arts have taken a hit in the past 3 decades.
That's very
every presidential election, they're figuring out a way to keep it versus cutting arts programs everywhere. And every single administration, from what I understand, I'll check this later, has in some form cut some arts every time because they had to. Because they had to work on Social Security, they had to work on Medicare, they had to work on the Affordable Care Act. Something needed money, we had to move it. War, weapons and shit all the time. You know, the arts programs are the first to go.
So can you explain how AI is going to help our case for arts programs?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, so
Pastor Clef, come on.
So what's going to make it helpful is the fact that right now, okay, I'll give you this, I waged this question. What do you think is more important? Having teachers with jobs to teach music, or having music at all in public schools?
Oh, I understand, because they're trying to cut out teachers.
They cut out teachers.
But okay.
But the thing is, in my dark, gloomy world of the future, they're never going to stop cutting teachers. Like we dealing with the teacher strike right now in LA. You know, they're never going to stop cutting teachers. And the first teachers to get cut
are the arts
teachers, or at least the arts teachers that don't want to teach math, or the arts teachers that don't want to teach science, or can't teach those science. Those are the first ones to go. And if you don't have teachers, you don't have programs. You don't have programs, you don't have students. You have students, you don't have private teachers to teach these kids because they don't have anywhere to play except for in their lessons. And so it's not interesting to them. They don't have any gauge of being, like, it's not important to them. The only reason why my nephew Caden loves piano is because his dad's a musician.
Yeah.
Guarantee he would not give 2 shits about playing piano if he didn't see his dad do it every day.
Yeah.
Not bad.
The same thing with Leo. Leo plays all the time. He's 2 years old. And Caden, by the way, is 8. But
so ultimately, like, AI can actually help in that battle.
That's what I'm saying. So in the event of the dark world where we actually still lose teachers because the money isn't there, or they don't want to make the money there, there's somebody with a smart enough brain that's create AI programs for these kids to still learn music in schools somehow. Okay, even if it becomes just a portion of their class. Like, you know how sometimes you're in a teacher with a class with a teacher for 3 to 4 hours?
Yeah.
And they can, now this teacher, who's probably don't know a quarter note from a half note at all, will probably have tools of AI to still teach them the basics of things that we learned in art school, might even make them smarter, because AI, the technology itself, learns to educate better by using simpler technology to say, like, oh, this is how they learn, so make it this simple.
I'll be honest with you, I wasn't expecting such a smart answer. I thought you were gonna I wanted some basic shit, bro. Calm down, homie. Come on.
Man,
BTW,
no, but my light went out, but I don't think it really matters.
Nah, it doesn't.
Yeah.
No.
I just wanted to.
What do you think? Maybe, okay, worst case scenario, best case scenario, AI.
I mean, I feel like the worst case scenario is obvious.
No.
What?
niggas don't got jobs no more. You know what I'm saying? Because robots are doing their jobs, and now you got to learn a new trade or a new skill. You know what I'm saying? And like you're replaced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
best case scenario.
Yeah.
We are pushed towards higher consciousness.
You came back to.
I mean, at the end of the day, bro.
The callback.
But what does that mean? What does it mean?
But I feel like you know what it means. You know what
I don't. I swear to you, I don't.
You just gotta listen. You gotta listen with a different ear, bro. You know what I'm saying? Enoch walked with God and he was not. You understand?
See, I'm gonna throw my.
I just love fucking with you at this point.
I know.
No.
I don't know what y'all mean. What are y'all saying?
No, don't. He's joking. Stop, please. Don't.
No, I mean, yeah, I don't really know, to be honest. I don't have like a best case scenario outcome.
Okay.
For AI.
I mean, okay, myself and everything. I think worst case, obviously, no. It could just be something to where it ultimately kind of neuters music and gets it to the point to where. Even the music that is created is just like, I know people talk about music being regurgitated, but this could take it to new levels of actual regurgitation because it's just the dog, chasing the tail or something and whatnot, as opposed to like actually being creativity. Like, hip hop isn't created under artificial intelligence. It's an actual lived human experience. So it can definitely be something that can, I guess the best scenario is it being a tool that helps people to create more and maybe do more with it, but not replaced by it. At the moment where you're now replaced by it, and that's why I'm saying I think that artists and creators, we really need to make sure that we're pushing back against any corporation or any group of corporations that are doing anything to where they're now hiring or working with AI instead of actually using humans. Because like if it does it with the arts, like I get it with certain manual tasks. Like if it's somebody putting stuff in a bag, yeah, okay, I get it, it's automated. If it's something that has a thing in it to where, they're replacing a human's actual soul presence, emotion, mindset, history, and just turning it into a bunch of ones and zeros and everything. Because the cool thing about humans is, there was this really cool thing, and I'm not going to really try to describe it, but it was just talking about people playing together musically. If we're playing something and whatnot, if I play it a little bit slow one time, you're going to maybe slow down. And it's just going to be this thing to where it becomes this imperfect variation that cannot be duplicated because there's too many factors in it.
Yeah.
And there's like, then there's a glance. It's like, and then there's maybe how you used to play it in middle school that informs you. There's so many different things that cannot be calculated. We're all walking around with supercomputers in our heads. So we had.
I don't believe that's ever going to go away, bro. I guess that's what I'm saying. And if there were a way to clarify my woo-woo thought, it's just pushing us more towards like authenticity and the ability to recognize it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and to value it. Like,
that's perfect. And because like that's the thing. It's like once, you could have the strongest counterfeit, but somebody's gonna come in and you can come up with a basic song that just touches people and whatnot and everything. Also, I'm gonna say this: if you're using AI and you make some dope stuff, shut up. You don't have to tell people. Just make us think it was you. Stop promoting AI like that. Like, say if somebody writes something that's dope.
There's some truth to that.
Because they're gonna know for real. Think about that. Like, if somebody's gonna do it, and I know somebody's gonna do it anyway. They're gonna make a dope song. It's gonna go to #1. They're gonna be like, "Oh, this was made with AI."
Do not tell us.
Don't say that for yourself. Let us believe that you're dope. I swear to God. I'm looking at the camera.
Like, here's the thing. It's like, but you did it though. Like you programmed the AI, right?
That's true. But even I'm saying in the case of somebody who's just like
anything,
because it might be
the Kanye West conversation of like people being like, "Oh, he's not talented because he's just using samples." It's like, but he had to put the samples.
Yeah, like you do it,
but he did the
beat.
work on that. What he's saying is, well, in the event of the further future where the beats is like, make me a beat that sound like this and this key for me to sing to, and it come out like,
and it's a smash. Shut up. Make us believe that you did it.
Don't say nothing
because it's more valuable. It's more valuable to you as a creator, and it's more valuable to the industry.
But then the commodity is going to become again authentic human connection, and then it's going to come down to people wanting to go to the shows now because they're wanting to have like experience that You know
that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why like LPs and records.
You just talked about. I'm gonna take y'all somewhere else.
No, let me just finish this.
No, go ahead.
But that's one of the reasons why like even stuff like LP sales are like the highest that it's been in 50 years. Because there's an authentic thing that people are like, yeah, all this digital stuff, I need something that moves me in a different way that you can't just digitize and it's not just there. I want the experience of opening up a case, taking something out, laying it down. There is a human experience that cannot be replicated. And so I think that people need to start finding the, honestly, it'll make you a better business. If you realize that it's not just about this and I can actually have a connection with my fan base and everything that's like real. Right. And whatnot, it's gonna so to a point, I think that you might have hit it on the head early. It's gonna force us to actually be more aware of and present about, okay, what makes us unique? Because it's not just all this branding, it's this unique thing that only I can do at this moment in time in this location. And a computer ultimately can't do that. So once that is the thing that becomes, more like realized and whatnot to the audience and everything. Like the more robots that are out there, it's gonna be like, yeah, okay, robots, cool, but let me get the real thing.
Yeah,
but
it's a spiritual thing.
Yeah,
you just opened up something. I think you said it. That's made me.
If it was brilliant, I definitely said
that's
it.
That's the clip.
Man, now I have not thought about this, and I don't know if this is good or bad. Right now, in my head, is neutral, or actually, right now in my head, I think it's actually very inspirational, if not probably.
You said inspirational?
It might be next level. And, excuse my ignorance if someone's already done this or it's already happening somewhere. Because, like sometimes as Americans, we're like, oh, we've been doing this shit. So AI might end up being the best open air collaborator. So what I mean about that, imagine going to a show with SZA. And she says, AI, make me a track at 82 beats per minute, dark, E flat, and also give me snaps with no claps. Make it 4 minutes long. And drop the beat. And then
I love this.
Keep preaching.
But here's the thing. Who's not gonna watch that show of her saying that live and then that beat starts and she sings a song that she's not written before?
Oh.
Who's not gonna be like, she asked AI to do this, make this random beat up on the spot, and she did a song.
And she went in on that
randomly
shit.
On the spot. The only thing she controlled was the key because she's like, let's be smart. I want to sing in the key that I can sing.
Good. The only thing similar to that I can think of is like the loop machine when people are literally building their loops out on stage and they're like creating it with you.
Yeah.
But I agree. That's tight because it's going to expose people to a part of the process that they're not exposed to if they're not in the studio with you.
They're never going to get that process. And don't come for me in the comments about the people who's just like, well, that's what a live band is for. I was just like, yeah, we've seen it on the Tonight Show. We've seen it on SNL. We've seen it on every talk show with live bands do this stuff like that. We've even seen certain concert Sweetwater Tour where you got great bands out there.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. There's something about a live band playing with this certain types of human intelligence versus a person getting something basically they don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Because when you tell her to make this song, she may not know where the chorus is going to drop. Yeah. She may not know when the pre-chorus is. But
my guess is if it's AI structure, then they're going to go off of popular song structure. But all that to say,
but if she says make it in the style of me.
But I mean, she has a structure probably, right?
Sort of.
Yeah.
I guess you're right.
If it's SZA, it could go a lot of places.
It could go a lot of places.
But even to expound on that, though, that actually showcases the live band's ability to then also interact with the track.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, track plus band is fire, right? So it's like, she's track like, oh, make me something in this key. And then it goes to show that the band can even hop in and play in that key and add little fills and shit. So
because ultimately, people are impressed by not robotic things, but like these live things, like, oh, what's gonna happen? So if you're able to show that, like there's this old thing they say, like if there were an actor on stage and a cat, everybody's going to always watch the cat because it's like there's an unpredictability of life in that.
Exactly.
But this person, the actor, is just reading the lines. They're doing the thing that they're supposed to do. Okay, cool. But that life thing, like, okay, hold up. Oh, well, maybe SZA doesn't catch it. Maybe she sings off beat.
Yeah.
Maybe she doesn't catch the song and whatnot. Yeah. So I like that because that could, as a tool, be really cool. Now, I think it's maybe dumb for artists to do that because, again, you could be promoting something that ultimately is going to put less money in your pocket, and we don't have a lot of regulations in this space yet.
Yeah. And the flip of that,
if somebody does it and it's dope.
The flip of that is possible too, which is a producer makes a track and is like, AI, do a top line on this shit.
Ooh, no. And no, here's the real gritty right here. You mess around and do one of them beats and everything off of there. And guess what? ChatGPT owns your masters and you don't. Ooh.
Wait, hold up. Yeah. Because when y'all was doing all them pitches, them AI pitches, and nobody read them terms and agreements, and it was just like name and likeness, I got you, boo.
Picking up what I'm putting down. So I'm saying, y'all thinking it's so cool. Because if I write code, let me tell you, if I write code and my code writes a beat, that's my beat. Give me my pub. Give me my masters.
Therefore, to conclude the episode, we are all
Jesus
Rooster Illusions.
Oh my God, man! I'm not watching that movie. I don't care how many times you say it. I'm avoiding that movie. I swear.
Oh my God!
I'm not watching it.
You know what?
I probably already saw it and forgot.
We gonna wrap it up. But you know what? We gonna also wrap it up with what AI said at the end of that question the original question was, what aspects of the music industry will be disrupted by AI? And the only reason why I asked this question to AI is because when I asked AI, will AI ruin the music industry? It's like, basically in long form, it's like, no, but we will disrupt a lot of things. That's literally the short version of the answer they gave me. But in conclusion, they say, while AI will undoubtedly disrupt some parts of the music industry, it is also expected to create new opportunities, such as utilizing AI to create better experiences for producers, creators, and listeners alike. Now, that's a very come together, we'll be good at the end sentence, but it's also letting you know how smart AI is, letting you know to be comfortable with that. They want you to lay your head down and know that everything's going to be all right.
AI ain't going to tell on itself. AI's plotting.
AI too smart to show its cards.
Crazy fact too. This is all AI generated. This is a deep fake.
This ain't even us.
This ain't even us. We really put in a chat
again.
thing.
We are three Taiwanese girls.
Rooster Illusions.
We're literally Rooster's Illusions now. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. All right, that was it.
My name is Calvin II. I'm from Detroit.
If I could drop this mic, I would drop the mic.
Don't be irrationally afraid, but don't be irrationally unafraid.